Hogwarts Legacy is an upcoming open-world RPG that will put players into the wizarding world like never before. If you're anything like me, after reading or seeing the world of Harry Potter, then you probably wish that you could also attend Hogwarts yourself, to join your own legendary house, to have your own wand and forge your own wizarding story. If so, then Hogwarts Legacy is likely the game for you. I have researched numerous sources and watched nearly every piece of Hogwarts Legacy content I could find to put together this video for you. We'll answer questions such as what will the game's story be like, how much of Hogwarts can we explore, which spells will we use in game, and what magical creatures will we see. All these questions and more will be answered in this video. So, wands at the ready as we take a tour of Hogwarts Legacy and we discuss all you need to know about the game. Hogwarts Legacy has been in development for over 5 years, when the first rumors of the game began circulating after Warner Bros.' 2017 purchase of Avalanche, the passionate studio behind the game. The game was originally set for a 2022 release, but is now releasing February 10, 2023 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. Other platforms will have to wait slightly longer. For PS4 and Xbox One, those consoles will have to wait until April 4th to play the game, and unfortunately for Switch players, July 25th. While J.K. Rowling is not directly involved in the creation of the game, the Harry Potter universe is the foundation for the game's story, and Avalanche have said that they have worked hard to ensure the writing for the game is closely accurate to the original material. With the basics out of the way, let's begin by discussing the game's story, setting, and how you and your character will fit into both. You will experience Hogwarts as a student in the late 1800s, so no present-day characters such as Harry, Hermione, or Ron will be in the game. However, we will see some familiar faces at Hogwarts, such as Nearly Headless Nick and Peeves, the notorious trickster. Your character is a student who holds the key to an ancient magical secret that threatens to tear the wizarding world apart. You receive a late acceptance letter to Hogwarts and begin the school as a 5th-year student, which is highly unusual. You will have a unique ability to perceive and manipulate ancient but powerful magic. Your decisions will play a role in the story, and it will be up to you to protect the secrets of this ancient magic or succumb to using the more sinister magic. The game will include some opportunities for choice, where you will, quote, encounter missions and scenarios that will pose difficult choices and determine what you stand for. While your choices will influence the game in some ways, the game will not feature a full-blown morality system, as confirmed by the Hogwarts Legacy FAQ. Hogwarts Legacy does not have a morality system, but players will encounter various quests and storylines that will influence the witch or wizard they choose to become, with Chandler further clarifying that, quote, you can define who you are and how you choose to respond and react in many conversations. Are you nice or a jerk? You can choose to learn and wield the dark arts or not, but there is not a formal tracked morality system like those found in some other RPGs. During the first gameplay showcase, game director Alan Tu did confirm that the game's ending may be different depending on your choices and interactions with the different characters in the game, as we can hear him discuss in this clip.
The students are a way to kind of like flesh out the school opportunities around it, what we can do, and then those interactions, different interactions with different characters can also offer different choice points for the player, and then some of those things can affect things game-wide. Some of these affect characters' lives, the ending of the game.
Fellow creator Expecto Go had a fantastic theory about the game's potential different endings, relating to the two different covers of the game even before the gameplay showcase. As we've seen, we have the typical Hogwarts Legacy cover that was first shown, as well as the Dark Arts cover with the various additional beasts and creatures appearing on that cover. Depending on the decisions that you make regarding whether or not to pursue the unforgivable curses, as well as the interactions with different characters in the world, the ending you get may be much different. It looks like it could completely change the world as you play, making it a much darker place with much more fearsome creatures roaming Hogwarts. Exactly how much different it will be is yet to be seen, but I'm very excited to play and find out. The main story centers around our character's ability to perceive and manipulate this ancient magic, and there is a dangerous mystery that we must discover and solve. There is also a looming threat of a goblin rebellion. The goblin Ranrock appears to be the main antagonist leading the goblin rebellion, and there's a sinister alliance happening between the goblins and a group of dark wizards, particularly one wizard known as Rookwood. We will use the skills we learn at Hogwarts and work alongside Professor Fig to discover these secrets. We will face dangerous creatures corrupted by dark magic, powerful goblins, and sinister witches and wizards willing to fight and kill to achieve their goals. While the story is one exciting aspect of the game, exploration of Hogwarts may be even more exciting. But it won't just be Hogwarts that we get to explore. You'll be able to explore Hogwarts and the surrounding areas to discover new and exciting secrets. You can visit your house common area as well as explore numerous areas of the castle in all its beautiful detail. Each common area will have its own unique musical score so that each common room feels different and unique. As you can see, each common room has its own unique design and feel to really make players feel at home. Gryffindor has its classic warm feel of pride and courage, as well as the book-accurate tunnel entrance. Ravenclaw displays its intelligence with an elegant design and the fearsome House Eagle greeting you at the opening. We also have the earthy feel of the Hufflepuff common room, with plants and warmth galore. And I have to say, as a Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff may be one of my favorites. Finally, we have a common room to match the ambitions of House Slytherin, and it definitely has one of the best entrances of the common rooms. During the gameplay showcase, we get a much deeper look inside the castle. We saw familiar locations such as the Clock Tower, Central Hall, Hesperus Hall, a peek at the Grand Staircase, and a tour of the Defense Against the Dark Arts classroom, to name a few. However, we also saw a lot of interesting details that really show that Avalanche has designed the game with care, such as the house hourglasses, the beautiful windows that change with the seasons, and the gorgeous courtyard. As we've seen previously, players can also visit and use the Room of Requirement, which will serve a very important purpose that we will discuss later in the gameplay section of the video. As you can see here on your screen now, the map is huge, and much bigger than many expected. Now, this does not appear to be the full map of the game, as it seems that some sections are missing based on the different section labels. But just based on what we can see here and what we've seen from the gameplay, we'll have a massive wizarding world to explore. Avalanche has said that they want Hogwarts Legacy to feel like a living, breathing world. In the gameplay showcase, game director Alan 2 said that all the areas we can see from the castle walls can also be visited and explored.
It's like you'll notice a bridge over there. That's a place you can go to and cross. Like everything that you see is a place that you can visit.
We'll be able to visit surrounding hamlets such as Hogsmeade Village, where we can visit shops and vendors to buy potion ingredients, recipes, seeds for magical plants, as well as gear. We'll also be able to visit famous stores such as Ollivander's Wand Store and Zonko's. You'll be able to interact with residents and vendors in the hamlets to obtain different quests as well. We also know that at some point we'll be visiting Gringotts Bank with Professor Fig. You'll also be able to explore at night, as confirmed by this post on the Hogwarts Legacy Twitter account. Now, whether or not there'll be prefects patrolling the castle walls is yet to be seen. We also know we'll be able to venture into and explore the Forbidden Forest. There will be various dungeons and secret areas to explore, both inside and outside of Hogwarts. These locations will contain both dangerous threats and valuable rewards. Throughout the world, we'll also see and interact with magical puzzles, some of which may have even been designed by Merlin himself when he was a student at Hogwarts. At an early point during the game, we'll get access to the book, An Authorized Guide to Hogwarts. When we obtain a new quest or complete a quest, it will be placed within our guidebook to access it. And as noted by game director Alan 2, the guidebook is actually on loan from the Ministry of Magic to help us catch up to the other students, since we're beginning as a 5th year. Within our guidebook, we'll find our character's level, we can check the map, find our quest log, adjust our gear, monitor different challenges, check our mail via the Owl Post, manage our inventory, adjust settings, and tinker with our talents. Navigating the wizarding world will also be very important, and no witch or wizard wants to walk everywhere they go. You can, of course, fly on your broomstick from place to place, and while Quidditch will not be in the game, you can participate in different flight challenges and broom races. You'll also be able to tame and ride various beasts. The two confirmed beasts for flight are Hippogriffs and Thestrals. However, Thestrals will be limited to those who purchase the deluxe or collector's editions of the game. Another navigational tool that you'll likely use quite frequently is the Floo-Flames, which is Hogwarts Legacy's chosen method of fast travel. These are marked by a green flame at various locations, which allow players to fast travel from one place to another. While we can visit the shops and locales of Hogwarts Legacy, we'll want to be able to do it in style, so let's discuss the customization options in the game. At the beginning of Hogwarts Legacy, your player will don the famous sorting hat and be placed into a house of your choice, where you will choose between one of the 4 famous houses: Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, or Slytherin. You'll also have access to your own custom wand in the game. In the Harry Potter universe, your house and your wand represent you and your identity in some way. Each wand is supposedly unique, being made of different types of wood, having different cores, and it's ultimately said that the wand chooses the wizard. And in Hogwarts Legacy, by linking your WB account to your Wizarding World fan account, you can bring in your Hogwarts house and custom wand into the game. However, it does not appear that you'll be able to have a custom Patronus. However, even if you link your 2 accounts, you're not stuck with what you've been assigned and will be allowed to choose a new house and wand type if you so choose, as confirmed by community manager Chandler Wood. For those who link their account, you'll also be rewarded with a beaked skull mask as well as House Fanatic school robes, as you can see on screen here. You can create and customize your character starting with numerous presets as starting points. You'll then be able to adjust things like your skin color, gender, and voice, as well as some more of the fine details, including facial scars, birthmarks, freckles, etc. However, it appears so far there's not an option to adjust body size and shape, so it looks like Hogwarts Legacy won't have any thick witches or wizards, which I think is quite a shame. At the final character creator screen, you'll choose your gameplay difficulty, character name, and your preferred dormitory. You can also customize your outfits and accessories while in the game. We've seen that outfits and accessories can be purchased outside of Hogwarts in Hogsmeade Village, with a variety of items being available for purchase. While exploring Hogwarts Legacy, you will face many threats, from goblins to dark wizards, trolls, and even dragons. To take on these foes, you'll need to learn how to defend yourself. So let's discuss the gameplay and combat of Hogwarts Legacy. We received our first full look at the HUD during the recent gameplay showcase. When examining the HUD, we can see the minimap present in the bottom left corner, which shows the area layout and important icons. We also see a potion vial with the L1 button present. This will serve as a tool wheel for things like potions and magical plants. Now on the bottom right is where the real magic happens. Pun intended. We have what Avalanche is calling the Spell Diamond. Each Spell Diamond holds up to 4 spells, and players can unlock 4 additional Spell Diamonds to equip and sort through the game's 20+ unlockable spells. Spell Diamonds can be sorted through using the right D-pad button. The left D-pad button will hold one of the essential spells, which is Revelio, which will be frequently used to find hidden items and information. We also see the green health bar located in the bottom right. And above that is the Ancient Magic Meter, which we'll discuss a bit more here soon. We get our first real look at combat and how it works during the gameplay showcase, where the presenters visited the Clock Tower, which is the location of the Crosswands Dueling Club, a place where you can practice your spells on dummy enemies or take on other CPU students and practice your combat that way. Combat is heavily focused on stunning enemies using the basic red attack triggered by tapping the R2 button, and then using spell combos and counters to take them down. You can roll out of the way of attacks, as well as deflect and counter ranged attacks using Stupefy by using the triangle button or Y on Xbox. To use the spell buttons presented on the diamonds, you'll hold down the R2 button, then use the face buttons to cast them. However, the spells on the spell diamond do have a cooldown period. These spells will be classified as either damage spells, force spells, or control spells, and will be identified by color. It'll be important to learn the classification of these different spells, as you'll want to cast these spells that match an enemy's shield to break them. For example, violet colored shields are broken using force spells such as Accio. And it also appears that Leviosa can break yellow shields, likely making it a control spell. That would leave red spells such as Stupefy to be damage spells. You'll also be able to lock onto targets during combat by clicking the right stick and flicking the stick to cycle between them. While doing so, a bar will appear at the top showing the enemy's name, level, and health bar. And during the gameplay showcase number 2, it was revealed that the R1 button, also RB on Xbox, is the ability used to pull an object and then throw it towards an enemy. It was mentioned that it's one of the additional ancient spells, and it appears to be used more like a common spell used more frequently during combat. The game will also feature different spell level ups or finishers. It is said that each spell has its own core identity, but through the use of the talent system, each spell can advance, change, and grow. And it will change how you choose to approach combat, giving you your own unique style. It was also mentioned by Alan too that this will apply to the dark arts as well. The Ancient Magic Meter is one of the most exciting parts of Hogwarts Legacy's combat. Located above the health bar, this bar fills as you complete successful combos during combat. When it fills, it allows you to use a powerful ancient magic attack. This is likely where we see the powerful Descendo-like slam on the goblin and the lightning strike finisher. Some other huge combat reveals were shown during the second gameplay showcase, involving the unforgivable spells and the dark arts battle arena. While we'll be able to practice our combat in the Crosswands Dueling Club, we'll also be able to practice using the unforgivable curses in the Dark Arts Battle Arena, for those who have the deluxe edition of the game. Even for those who don't choose to go down the path, you can experiment with the curses and use them against different waves of enemies in the arena. The gameplay footage also confirmed a huge question that many had about the curses and their uses, confirming that the curses are slottable and won't be limited to just cutscenes or specific moments during the gameplay. The 3 unforgivable curses can be used during combat if you choose to go down the path. and they are very powerful. To help balance them, they do have a significant cooldown timer. Another powerful advantage of using them that was mentioned was that you can also link the curses together, and if done correctly, you can defeat multiple enemies at once. And what about those who simply want to be good students? Learn all they can and not Avada Kedavra everyone they see? Well, you have that option too. While attending Hogwarts, we will participate in various classes, many of which are probably very familiar to you. You will learn how to defend yourself in Defense Against the Dark Arts classes taught by Professor Hecat, a stern yet likable Ravenclaw who enjoyed a successful career with the Ministry of Magic before taking the position. Here we will learn to defend ourselves from all types of dark and dangerous magic that we will face. You will also learn how to grow and develop magical plants in Herbology classes taught by Professor Garlick, a Hufflepuff with quite an interesting name for a Herbology professor. She is London-born and grew up in a house full of muggles, never feeling like she fit in until going to Hogwarts. Now she shares her love of magical plants with students and colleagues alike. The plants that we will learn to grow can later be used to take on enemies, such as the mandrakes as an offensive attack, which we also saw in the gameplay trailer. There is also charms classes taught by the jovial and lighthearted Abraham Ronan, who is said to be head of House Slytherin at the time. Professor Ronan values students' friendships and extracurriculars to be just as important as his content. He displays a passion for various games and likes to incorporate many games into his lessons. There is also potions classes taught by Professor Sharp, an intense and astute Slytherin and former Auror, which is a highly trained magical law enforcement officer until an injury forced him out. He will have a challenging curriculum and won't have any time for foolishness. Here we'll be able to learn various potions which can later be brewed in the Room of Requirement. These potions may temporarily increase spell power, restore health, and we have also seen invisibility potions, to name a few. Other magical classes include Beast class, where we will learn to tame and care for magical beasts, as well as History of Magic taught by the ghost of Professor Binns. As Alan 2 said, classes will be an integral part of the game, as there is a large mystery happening throughout the story and classes are a part of that narrative. While classes won't be set up in a scheduled bully-style fashion, Alan 2 had this to say about classes. Quote, "Each chapter has a set of missions that you can choose between as you're progressing through the game, and classes fit within that structure. So there are mainline things that players have to do, and then classes also appear on the sides as well, as optional things that help you advance your spells. Classes will help us learn spells, acquire major abilities, and get to know the professors." Another important aspect of Hogwarts Legacy that I've been teasing throughout the video is the Room of Requirement. Now, the Room of Requirement is traditionally a secret room within Hogwarts that only appears when a person was in great need of it. The Room of Requirement will act as a hub for wizarding needs. However, Avalanche says the room will still sense what we need and provide it for us. We will also be able to adjust the Room of Requirement to our liking by changing many aspects, including the furniture and even the actual architecture of the room. Within the room, we can see many different stations, such as potion brewing machines, potting stations to sow and harvest plants, and spots where we can upgrade our gear. Over time, the Room of Requirement will grow and expand, giving us access to more recipes and more features, including the loom. While we can adjust our gear and appearance anytime, the loom will serve an important role of allowing us to make different upgrades to our gear to give it an extra advantage during gameplay. There's also an identification station where you can learn about the gear you acquire throughout the world and find out new and interesting things about it. Vivariums are also a very exciting aspect of the game that we got to see much more about in the second gameplay showcase. Within the Vivariums, we can rescue and nurture different magical beasts. When we do so, these beasts will then live in our Vivarium where we can care for them and interact with them. There will also be different Vivarium biomes that we can unlock to house our magical beasts. As we care for our beasts, they will provide us with their magical ingredients to help us along the way to create potions and upgrade our gear. The Vivariums will also be quite customizable as well, allowing you to add different decorations and structures within. While using potions and growing plants is fun, the real strength of a witch or wizard comes from their spells. So let's discuss the known spells that will be available to use in Hogwarts Legacy. First up is the essential spell Revelio, which reveals hidden information, chests, and other important items during gameplay. Next is Stupefy, the stunning spell. When used in combat, it's visualized as a red beam to stun opponents, leaving them unconscious without leaving lasting damage. We also have Protego, also known as the shield charm. We first see this charm used in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix when we see Harry use this spell against Professor Snape. This will likely be a spell that we frequently use in combat. Up next is Accio, the summoning charm, which brings an object to its caster. Accio has been shown in the gameplay footage as being very useful and probably necessary in the game's puzzle solving, pulling objects towards the player as well as unlocking secret passageways. Its counter is Depulso, known as the banishing spell. sending the target away from the caster, and in the gameplay footage appears to be used as a counterattack to Accio. We also have Defendo, the severing charm, which is used to precisely cut an object. It was invented in the 15th century by wizarding seamstress Delphina Crimp, and looks to be used in the gameplay to break through an enemy's shield charm. We also have Lumos and Nox. Lumos being the wand lighting charm, which produces a light from the end of the user's wand. And then we have Nox, the spell that is likely not its own individual spell, but is the spell to turn off the wand light. Now, we haven't seen the Patronus charm in the game, but we know that the game will feature Dementors, so how we're going to deal with those Dementors is yet to be seen. We've also seen Glacius, the freezing charm, a charm that freezes targets with ice-cold air. In the gameplay trailer, it was used to slow a troll during combat, but appeared ineffective due to the troll's resistance. It was also used in this combat clip where our player freezes an enemy on the ground, then blasts them with Confringo. So let's go ahead and mention Confringo, also known as the Blasting Curse. It's a spell or curse used to make things explode and was first seen in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. We've also seen Reparo, the Mending Charm, which is used to repair broken objects. In the gameplay footage, it was used to repair a broken bridge. We've also seen Descendo, a charm that slams or lowers objects into the ground. This could likely be used to solve different puzzles throughout the game, but we've also seen it be used to slam some goblins into the ground. Up next is Expelliarmus, the Disarming Charm, which disarms enemies and can even knock them back when used with enough power. In the gameplay footage, it was used to disarm the opponents, then use their weapons against them. We've also seen Leviosa on display, the Levitation Charm. This charm is used to make objects fly or levitate. Now, this spell doesn't technically work on humans, but does work on the clothes they wear, so it's likely that this is how the game is using the spell, through a bit of a loophole to lift people into the air. We also have Incendio, the fire-making charm, which produces a jet of flames. And this spell looks like it'll be very effective when used in combination with other spells. We also have the Disillusionment charm, which hides or blends the caster into their surroundings. This was used in the gameplay trailer to sneak up on an enemy and use Petrificus Totalis, the Bodybind Curse. The Bodybind Curse petrifies the victim's body, rendering them completely immobile, and was used on Neville Longbottom in the Sorcerer's Stone. There's also a possibility that we may see a transfiguration spell that turns one object into another. In the early gameplay trailers, we saw a boggart, which is an immortal shape-shifting non-being that takes the form of its observer's worst fear. So there may be a chance that the spell Ridiculous is in the game, which transforms the boggart into a hilarious or humorous shape as seen in the Order of the Phoenix. While we haven't seen this spell yet, we did see the boggart and we've seen a boggart box in the trailer, so there's a possibility for it. And as mentioned before, the 3 unforgivable dark magic curses are also in the game, so let's discuss those now. The unforgivable curses appear to be where a lot of the game's decision making will come into play, focusing on whether or not your player will learn and use the unforgivable curses or not. First up is Avada Kedavra, known as the Unforgivable Killing Curse. It was most famously used by Voldemort in the books and films, and it's one of the 3 unforgivable curses. It is accompanied by its famous flash of green light, and its only known counterspell is Sacrificial Protection, which led to Harry's famous lightning scar. However, it can also be blocked or dodged with a physical barrier. This curse was first created during the early Middle Ages by dark witches and wizards as a quick way to win a duel. However, in 1717, the Ministry of Magic declared the curse along with 2 others to be considered unforgivable, resulting in a life sentence without parole in Azkaban. Next up is Crucio, known as the Cruciatus or Torture Curse. It can be cast on both humans and creatures. When cast successfully, it inflicts excruciating pain on the curse's victim. In Hogwarts Legacy, we've seen Crucio used in the Sebastian Sallow trailer, giving us our second tease at the dark magic. During the trailer, Sebastian, our Slytherin companion, says he can teach us how to use Crucio or use it on us, which basically implies we have the option to either be tortured or learn the curse and then use the curse ourselves on him. And it appears that the curse will be needed to open an ancient path hidden behind a secret doorway. We also have the 3rd unforgivable curse, Imperio, the Imperious Curse. When cast successfully, Imperio puts the victim completely under the caster's control, and only those with exceptional strength of will can resist it. In the books and films, we have seen the Imperious Curse used on the likes of Victor Krum, Neville Longbottom, and Bogrod at Gringotts Bank. In Hogwarts Legacy, Imperio will temporarily force enemies to fight as our companion. While under our player's control, they will take reduced damage from other enemies. It also curses the victim after, and cursed enemies take extra damage, making them easier to defeat. As we've discussed previously, for those who choose to learn the unforgivable curses, they will yield some huge combat benefits. However, it could also change the course of your wizarding story and the ending of your game. While spells are one exciting part of Hogwarts Legacy, the wizarding world would not be complete without all the amazing, fantastic beasts and magical creatures that roam the world. Some of the beasts and creatures we see in game will be corrupted by the dark magic. However, there will also be opportunities to save various beasts and creatures from poachers, as well as tame some of them. First up are centaurs, a magical creature whose head, torso, and arms appear to be human and are joined to a horse's lower body. They have a rich history and were known for being naturally talented in archery, healing magic, divination, and astronomy, and their presence is richly displayed at the North Tower, also known as the Divination Tower. We've also seen dragons, the fire-breathing beast. Specifically, what we've likely seen is the Hebridean Black Dragon, which is said to be native to the Hebrides of northern Scotland. Since Hogwarts is located in Scotland, that is likely why we see this dragon in the gameplay footage and trailers. We also see hippogriffs, magical flying beasts that have the appearance of a half-eagle, half-horse, and were featured in The Prisoner of Azkaban. And as we've seen, we'll be able to fly on the back of hippogriffs as a mount. We've also seen giant spiders known as acromantulas. These have been seen in the reveal trailer fighting a student, as well as in the Sebastian Sallow trailer. With the Forbidden Forest nearby, it's likely that's where we'll encounter them. However, it is worth mentioning that some people have been concerned that this may break canon, as Hagrid was said to have established the colony in the Forbidden Forest in 1943. Which would be after the game takes place. We also see Thestrals in the game, a breed of winged horse with a skeletal body and face. Thestrals are invisible to anyone who has not witnessed death and were bred at Hogwarts. This means that since our character can see Thestrals, our character has witnessed death. They are very rare and considered dangerous by the Ministry of Magic, so only experienced wizards and witches should try and handle Thestrals. And their tail hair can be used in a wand's core and was used to create the most powerful wand known to wizards, the Elder Wand. We'll be able to heal these creatures along with others in the Room of Requirement. Next up are Graphorns. Featured in the Fantastic Beasts movie series, these large creatures have skin tougher than dragon skin, a crown of horns on their head, and tentacle-like appendages on their mouths. And as we've seen, they are one of the creatures that we can rescue and tame in Hogwarts Legacy, as well as use as a mount. There are also mooncalves, cute and shy magical beasts with huge blue eyes and long necks that only come out of their burrows during a full moon. This is one of the magical beasts that we've seen we'll be able to rescue from poachers that try and capture them. To rescue them, we will collect them into our magical bag, then return them to our vivarium to nurse them back to health. We'll also get to have and interact with Neasels, which are magical beasts related to and similar in appearance to cats. They are highly intelligent, quite independent, and detect suspicious and untrustworthy people. There's also one of my favorites, which is a Niffler. Nifflers are attracted to stealing shiny objects, which give them an advantage when treasure hunting, but can also lead them to wreaking havoc if left unattended. I think it would be really fun and interesting if we could have a Niffler and tame it and possibly use it during fetch quests, or they could help us find a lot of loot. We've also seen trolls prominently featured in the game. These magical beasts are slow, they're not very smart, but they're incredibly strong and can pose a serious threat. They are so infamously dumb that they actually had the lowest wizarding exam failing grade named after them. During the gameplay shown, we've seen a troll wearing armor, indicating they may be used against us by Ranrock and the Goblin Army. And the game's director, Alan 2, has indicated there may be a questline where we need to take down a troll to protect people from it. We've seen floopers, magical birds displayed in the game's wallpaper art and appeared in the gameplay trailer as beautiful yellow chicks. It is said that listening to the floopers' high-pitched songs can drive the listener insane, so each bird must be sold with a silencing charm placed on it, and it must be reinforced monthly. There have also been these frog-like creatures that have glowing red eyes that appear to be corrupted by the mysterious dark magic. I suspect these may be hodags, which are a magical frog-headed beast. However, this is not confirmed. As mentioned before, we also have house elves, which are magical beings that are immensely devoted and loyal to the one designated as their master. They have their own type of powerful magic, such as apparating, which is magical transportation. However, their magic is limited by a lack of a wand. And as we know, house elves have had a sad history of being mistreated by their owners, as they were viewed as servants with no rights of their own. And in the game, we'll have a house elf named Deke, as well as other house elves have appeared throughout Hogwarts working and doing different tasks. We also know that there will be goblins in the game, a highly intelligent race of small humanoid magical beings. They are featured in the game as one of the main antagonists, being led by the goblin Ranrock, who is said to be leading a goblin rebellion, alongside some dark witches and wizards. The goblins have actually previously had rebellions as well, predating the time when the game takes place. Goblins have often been considered less than wizards and treated poorly as a result, likely leading to the rebellions of the past and possibly the one we'll see in the game. Inferi will also be present throughout the game. These are creatures formed of dark magic which can animate human corpses, and they may pose a significant threat. If you know about Inferi lore, you know they must be resurrected by a dark witch or wizard, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. In-game, the Incendio charm will be important when taking on Inferi, due to their weakness against fire. We've also seen a small glimpse of Dementors, which are soul-sucking wraith-like creatures considered to be one of the foulest of the dark creatures, and were featured in The Prisoner of Azkaban. And of course, there are owls, which are magical creatures often used for delivering different types of posts and parcels around the magical world. They are known for their quick speed and their ability to find an individual without an address. During the gameplay showcase, we see an owl in the Hufflepuff dormitory, so I hope that we'll get to choose our own personal owl, which I think would be pretty incredible. As long as it doesn't act like Ron's owl when trying to deliver a howler. And as mentioned before, we have seen a Boggart as well as a Boggart box, which are shapeshifters who take the form of a person's worst fear. The wizarding world wouldn't nearly be as fun without friends to go on adventures with, so thankfully Hogwarts Legacy will feature some companions to join us on our wizarding journey. During the game, we'll have some companions that we meet along the way. We have seen 3 of these companions so far, with our Slytherin companion getting his own trailer. Now more on that in a minute. First up is Natsai Onai, the Gryffindor companion described as a brave adventurer driven by the justice she seeks. She grew up in Africa, attending the largest wizarding school in the world, Wagadu. She transferred to Hogwarts when her mother became the school's divination professor. Next up is Poppy Sweeting, a Hufflepuff with a kind heart that loves magical creatures. She believes that magical creatures have more redeeming qualities than many people and hates poachers. Her companion questline will likely involve helping or rescuing fantastic beasts from poachers. It may also lead us into some trouble, as we see a clip of our character and Poppy being surrounded by centaurs. And there's also Sebastian Sallow, a charismatic Slytherin with a family secret. In one of the trailers, he's seen trying to reverse the family curse with Shrivel Figs. His questline also presents us with the opportunity to learn the unforgivable spell Crucio, but I won't go into too much detail on that, as I've made a full video about Sebastian and Crucio that you can watch, located in the description. There are 2 official companion books confirmed for Hogwarts Legacy. The first is The Art and Making of Hogwarts Legacy, releasing February 10th, the same day as the game. The book will include concept art, interviews, and more. The next is the Hogwarts Legacy official game guide. This book releases 1 month after the game's release, as Avalanche wanted to give players time to experience Hogwarts Legacy on their own. There will also be 3 different editions of the game available for purchase. The standard edition is your most basic, coming in at a $60 or $70 price tag depending on which gen of console you're getting, and it includes just the base game. The deluxe edition includes significantly more than the standard. Most of the additional items revolve around cosmetic items for your character, however there's also some other interesting benefits. In terms of cosmetics, the deluxe edition looks to provide you with a Dark Arts cosmetic pack, a Dark Arts garrison hat, and a Kelpie robe. The deluxe edition will also provide players with a Thestral mount, as well as the Dark Arts battle arena and 72 hours of early access to the game. The collector's edition will also provide players with the same items as the deluxe, and in addition to those items, players getting the collector's edition will also get physical items as well, with those being a steel case and a floating ancient magic wand with a book. So far, we know that the PlayStation version of the game will feature an exclusive potion recipe, as well as an exclusive quest that offers some interesting rewards. First up is the exclusive potion recipe, that being the Felix Felicis potion, also known as Liquid Luck. In Hogwarts Legacy, Felix Felicis is a luck potion that reveals various gear chests on the minimap for 1 in-game day. Now, let's discuss the exclusive quest that is available to all PlayStation players, whether or not they pre-order the game. The quest, titled The Haunted Hogsmeade Shop, will allow players to take part in a mysterious questline. When players complete the quest, they will be granted 2 items, the first being a shopkeeper's cosmetic set, and the second being that players can gain access to their very own shop where they can sell items and gear at better rates than anywhere else. So it sounds like completing the quest will be beneficial in helping you earn more money and eventually more unlockables in the game. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to the channel. I put a lot of time into it and I hope it was very helpful. Also, please check out one of the 2 videos on your screen.